Hey, excuse me. Hey guys, good afternoon, and good to be in front of you again this week. Obviously, coming off the road at Wisconsin, disappointing loss on the road. Felt like we had some opportunities, and we had an opportunity to meet with the team this morning, yesterday morning as well, just assess where things were at, health-wise, assess ourselves, and then from an on-the-field production standpoint, what we did well, what we did not do well, where we need to make improvements, and how can we make that big jump from week 1 to week 2. Really proud of the offense being able to have 0 sacks and over 40 pass attempts and have zero turnovers for us on offense. That was really big for us in the game in terms of protecting Cole and protecting the ball. Those two numbers we hit. Our running backs were able to break double-digit tackles, so we were able to break some tackles, create some yak, and I thought we had a good flow and pace about ourselves. From an operation leading up to the game, in game, I don't think our guys got overwhelmed with anything. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we love, kind of picking up where we left off, being able to get the takeaways, and we had those 2 interceptions. But obviously the big plays on the ground, we were able to get off the field on 3rd down. 4-12 efficiency. We were right at that number of 67% where we want to be, but the big plays on the ground were too many, and that's something we're certainly addressing now this week in practice. Have a lot of respect for this Fordham team that is coming in here on Saturday at 6 in terms of what they were able to do over the last year and a half, still finding their identity right now, and we know early on in the season everyone is growing, and these early season games is about playing clean football, executing, making the plays in the moment. But if you look at the history of that program and where they've been lately, they've won a lot of games. So we certainly have our attention. They have our full attention. They have our full respect. And we're looking forward to getting ourselves prepared to have a really, really great Saturday at home with our home opener at 6 o'clock.
You mentioned the run defense giving us some big plays. What needs to be done to strengthen the run defense? You're probably not going to see 2 backs like you saw on Saturday, but what needs to be done moving forward?
Well, there's times where you play, like a Wisconsin-style offense where they can test you vertically and they can test you at the line of scrimmage as well. And we had a good mix of 2 high safeties and 1 high safeties, and when we were blitzing, and there's a few layers to it. At times, we just have to make sure that we make the tackle when the guy's in position. We had a number of times where a guy that was in position did not make the tackle. I thought their staff did a good job in terms of handling some of our movement with our +1 pressures that we were bringing. But we had some guys in position. Sometimes we didn't down the ball like we'd like. And then there's an effort piece where, if a guy does miss a tackle, you like to see a 2nd or 3rd guy clean it up. And at times, that's the nature of college football. We have a sweet spot number where we feel like if we are at or below this number in terms of missed tackles, that we're doing things in the realm of playing really good productive football. But the missed tackles kind of accumulated on us. You got to take that extra step. We got to set the edge, and if that first guy misses it, we got to get a 2nd or 3rd guy there to down the football. So I think overall, when you saw us play our style of play, when we were able to do that, we were limiting the run game. The times where we did not make those type of plays, and then some of those runs extended on us. So we got to get it corrected.
How much do you react to what a nationally ranked Big Ten opponent does to you, then going forward into what other opponents?
Jonah, when I look at it, I guess I'm not going to sit here and tell you we ignored. I'm not going to also say we overplay it. I think there's a middle ground in there when we understand. I think that's a really quality football team that we went on the road, and you look up in the fourth quarter, we were down 14 points with the ball. And we had certainly felt like we had our opportunities to make it even a tighter game, and there was a path to potentially getting that win that we did not get. So what's the takeaway? I think really, what did you learn about yourself, and then what needs to happen next? I feel like if we continue to build and grow and we play our style of play, that we have the ingredients. Again, we have a lot of work to do, but it's a barometer. It's a test to see where things are at, and every week will be. For us, we want to just make sure that we're growing and developing, and truthfully, can we just continue to improve? Can we get better? Well, we have a checklist of about 40 things that we looked at post-game, things we did well, things we did not do well. about how we play the game, what needs to improve, and we want to get those things corrected. I want to see us set some better edges. I want to see us plug some gaps better. I want to see us create even more takeaways. We had 1 sack. We had a couple opportunities where we could have gotten multiple sacks. We got to continue to eliminate the negative plays. I think by and large we only had a couple negative plays against Wisconsin. That was a big theme going in, not creating the 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs. We had a couple discipline penalties that popped up that you'll never see here. I'll never talk about. It was called, and we have to make sure that we play clean football. When you're going on the road playing a nationally ranked team, you have to make all those plays to give yourself a chance. We did not, so we got to learn from those. We got to grow. I really feel like that the conscientiousness of our locker room is going to allow us to do that.
Coach, we saw Cole sort of reach a lot of different receivers on Saturday. What would you say, or what did you see from his ability to spread the ball?
I think if you kind of go back to maybe even post-spring press conferences, this summer training camp, he is right around what we were saying that he's been doing. Confident, very collected in the pocket, poised in the pocket, making smart, decisive, fast decisions. And you see him spread the ball around. We had double-digit guys that had a reception in the game, where maybe even like a last year, you say maybe it was a little bit more Justin, a little bit more Q. I think by style of play and what we're able to do in terms of spreading the ball around, we got a lot of guys involved. The backs got touches, the tight ends got touches, our receivers got touches, and our O-line and backs and tight ends did a good job of protecting him. And a couple times where things broke down, he made the next right play. So, obviously there's something to build off of when you go on the road. You play a Big Ten team that's nationally ranked, that's supposed to be one of the better teams in their conference, and we come away with what we feel like is a pretty efficient day, being able to move the ball. 3rd down is an area that we did not convert in. Short yardage is an area where we were not good in. So we certainly have a ton of work to do, but really confident in Cole's leadership and his poise and what we're looking to do moving forward this season.
You used 12 receivers against Wisconsin. Will that have a number you can utilize on a regular basis, giving those touches to different guys?
Well, again, not to sound like a broken record, but we talked about the depth that I really liked our group at wideout. I think, me and Paul Peck were talking about a month ago before camp started with one of our other interviews about we have some unknown, maybe nationally unknown receivers, but I really like our group. I think Coach Mangus and Coach Wickham at quarterback, our quarterback coach, and Coach Kevin Sherman, our wide receiver coach, they're just doing a phenomenal job in terms of getting the ball in the hands of our playmakers. We've talked a lot about our recruiting classes. You see like a guy like Nick McMillan get involved in the kick return game and at wide receiver. You see a DJ Harding with the 50-yard catch over the top, and we feel like we have a good mix. We have a healthy mix of guys. We got to just continue to get better. We have to do what we do and do it better, and I feel like we're up to the task.
Talk a little bit about Harity and what not only what he was able to do with the 2 touchdowns there, but sort of where his role is in that offense and how valuable that can be.
Yeah, Cole's so dependable. Cole Harity, number 0 wide receiver. What we did this morning is we went back to practice, and we literally pulled up about 4 or 5 practice plays where Cole was straining and finishing to make a play, making the catch, and then we backed that practice rep up with a game rep. And, we have this saying, if you do it in practice, you can do it in the game. And practice, repetition, and execution becomes game reality. And Cole Harity is a guy that's the first one in, last one out. He's going to hydrate the right way. He eats the right stuff. He's going to get extra lifts, watch extra film. He's going to take care of his body from a treatment standpoint. He's going to get his 8 hours of rest. He has his lifelines in him in terms of his hydration. So he is a process guy. He buys into a way of doing things. And when you do, I think it's really proven that you can, in the moment, come away with 50 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns and start on special teams for us. And he's just a great example. Really excited about where he is. And he's still hungry. He's still wanting to prove and show what he can do. And we're going to continue to build on that with him.
Coach Cole Snyder touched on this a little bit earlier, where you guys were in the same position last year, going play a Big Ten team, come back home, play an FCS team. You guys lost to an FCS team.
Right.
Kind of talked about trying not to repeat that. How do you guys go about maintaining the same level of focus after a game that you can take a lot of positives from against Wisconsin, now coming back to play an FCS?
Well, we're very objective about our analysis of ourselves, and by no means are we saying that we went through a checklist of positives. Well, they also went through a checklist of things we have to improve on. We have to stop the run better. We have to play better third down offense from a short yardage perspective. We got to play cleaner across the board. Bulls can't beat Bulls. We can't have the negative plays and negative penalties that are going to hurt us where we go backwards. We got outscored in the second half. We're 14-10 at halftime, and we want to be a great second half, fourth quarter team. We didn't finish in the fourth quarter the way up to our standard. So we're very much in the business of improving in all aspects of our game, and we're not going to dismiss or discredit anything that we did well, but we're very humble in terms of how we look at ourselves, because the only way you get better is through humility, right? I've never seen an arrogant player, coach, or an arrogant person improve at anything, because you kind of think you got all the answers already. But if you can stay humble, stay in a great sweet spot, let your confidence be built through your work ethic, let your confidence be built through a proven process, and stay in that balance of humility and confidence, that's where we want to be, and I think we're doing that now.
Knowing that your team, having seen that they could lose to an FCS team last year, does that kind of help kind of keep their focus?
I don't know if I get into, I think you can always use past experiences for future, maybe guidance in the future, but every team is a little different. This team is different than what I had last year. And what I would say is that, by and large, more than anything, our messaging is just how do we improve? It's about us. It's about our team. It's about our standards. It's about our process. It's about our purpose. It's not necessarily about maybe what happened 2 years ago or what even may happen next year. It's every morning we start our team meeting with one word. Every morning. You should ask the guys. Every morning we start with the word today. Today, how do we get better today? What do we need to do today? How do we just live in the moment, be in the moment, learn from what we learned from, and then use it to better ourselves moving forward? And I think that's been able to keep us in a really good mental space in terms of how we have to work. So not really getting into the billboard material or what maybe happened or all those things. I think we have enough maturity in the locker room to understand that anybody can beat us if we're not ready, and we also have enough confidence to realize that we can beat anybody if we're ready to go.
Fordham started for more than 500 yards in their first season. How vital will the pass rush be?
Extremely important. We have to continue to tie in our pass rush with our coverage, and you saw us come away with the 2 interceptions, Rachel, on the road there last week, and it's going to continue to be a big piece of how we defend the pass. And if you want to be a great pass coverage or pass defense, it really starts with stopping the run, and it starts with eliminating big plays, because a lot of offenses, if they can get that run game going on you, then obviously you have to do different creative things to eliminate those things, and then as you do one thing, it opens up another thing. So we have to just continue to tie it all in. Our game plan, I love where we are right now. We're in the middle of our approach. We know that this is a very lethal offense. It's very proven on film. If you go all the way back to last year, what they were able to do in terms of how they're able to really get after people vertically through the pass game. So we have a really healthy amount of respect for what they're able to do, and we're going to continue to put our game plan together, but it is going to be critical. Our guys up front, which we feel like is a good strength for us, got to play really well for us.
Changing sidelines, what do you like about that? How much of that was your initiative?
I was trying to figure out, through history, we've been on the other one, and we practice reps. We spend a lot of time, in spring and in summer on that sideline, and our guys like it. You talk to your players, talk to Gabe and Cole, and talk to the guys. Sean, you like being on our press box sideline. Everybody was on board with it, and so we got the switch. So we're looking forward to being on that sideline this year and maybe get some eyes on some things that maybe give us a better perspective from the box, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, how are you feeling ahead of the home opener, just getting to play, getting to coach in front of, and your guys getting to play in front of fans?
Yeah, we never take it for granted, our ability to be at home and in front of our fans. I think it always, you look at our roster, Joe Andreessen's from Western New York, Jake Orlando's from Western New York, Cole Snyder, Sean Dolak, Alex McNulty. We have a number of guys that we feel like, this is, UB, it's Buffalo's team. This is our team, is the city's team. It's Western New York's team. We feel like it's the state of New York's team. And we never take it for granted being able to come back at home. We had a lot of donors go with us last week to Madison, to Camp Randall. And I think they're certainly excited to be back home as well. Our students, we got a chance to see all of our new incoming new students in training camp and their first home game experience. So let's pack out this stadium. Let's be loud. Let's be proud. We're going to wear blue, and we're looking forward to having an exciting night.
How's the health of your team after Wisconsin going?
I think, Rachel, we're relatively in pretty good shape. We got a couple guys with some nicks and some things that they're getting some treatment on in the training room, but thankfully no one of anything of serious nature. So, we'll plan out throughout the week and see where guys are at, but we're in pretty good shape, we feel like.
Coach, last week, Mike Washington and Ron Cook each got voluntary release. Is this a backfield you see as 1A, 1B, and would you like seeing them run against?
Yeah, great question. We meet 3 times throughout the week with our coordinators, with Coach Mangus and Coach Wright, and from an offense perspective, defense perspective, and really tie in how we're going to play complementary football. Like, how do we see this game going? What needs to be true? We were right around the number of touches in both carries and in both catches with both our running backs in terms of how we saw it. You kind of got to reverse engineer games. Like, at the end of it, what needs to be true about us, in terms of then you kind of get into the who's carrying the ball and then specific plays for specific people. And we very much feel like we have some depth there at that running back position. We also have some guys that maybe didn't get the amount of carries that are developing right now. And we got some young guys that we're going to continue to get ready throughout the season. We know that we're going to have to play a lot of guys throughout the entire course of the year, and really our backfield set and the depth of that backfield is going to be a really big piece for us moving forward.
You've talked about needing that running back depth throughout the season, but how do you approach it now with everybody healthy and everybody?
Yeah, I think one of the best things we do is by practice design, Jonah. We have a lot of enough good on good reps. We're able to roll a lot of guys in, Barksdale and Lamar Sperling, and even Mark Anthony Scott and some of these other players, and some of the guys that maybe you didn't see get the game reps, but we know that maybe if it's not right now in September, maybe it's October, maybe November when their name's going to be called. We know we're going to have some unlikely heroes that maybe are not in there right now, but at some point this year we're going to need to have their development ready, so at moment's notice that they're ready to go in. And it can't happen just because we flip the switch and now we need you. We have to build and develop those reps along the way. We're doing that by practice design. We take a lot of pride in how we develop our players. If you look at last year, our bowl game, it was Tajay Ahmed who led our team in rushing, had 100 yards rushing, didn't start off the season that way. So the depth of our roster is critical for us. We got to build it across the board, O-line, secondary. We got a number of linebackers that we like, and nobody has that crystal ball in the game, so we just got to continue to get guys ready to go.